Have you ever wondered why people in certain parts of the world seem to live longer, age slower, and smile more as the years go by? I'm not talking about celebrities with personal chefs and trainers. I'm talking about everyday people, farmers, grandparents, shopkeepers, people just like you and me, living quietly in small corners of the world, yet somehow unlocking the secrets to a longer, healthier life. And here's the most surprising part. It's not about expensive supplements, strict diets, or cutting-edge technology. It's about rituals, simple, meaningful habits repeated every day. Rituals that shape not only how long they live, but how well they live. In this video, we're diving into the 5 longevity rituals practiced in some of the world's healthiest countries, places where people routinely live well into their 90s and even past 100, with energy, clarity, and purpose. And the best part? These are habits that you can start today, no matter your age, your background, or your fitness level. Let's begin with one of the most universal and powerful of them all, moving naturally throughout the day. In the hills of Okinawa, Japan, you'll find sprightly 80 and 90-year-olds tending to their gardens, squatting with ease, walking to the market, and sitting on the floor instead of chairs. They're not hitting the gym or tracking their steps with fancy watches. They're simply active, without calling it exercise. The same is true in the mountains of Sardinia, Italy, and the villages of Nicoya, Costa Rica. People walk to visit friends. They farm their land. They clean, carry, cook, all part of a daily rhythm that keeps their bodies flexible and strong. What we can learn from that is simple. Movement doesn't have to be formal. You don't need to join a class or lift heavy weights, unless you want to. Just ask yourself, how can I move more in the life I already have? Can I stand up and stretch while watching TV? Take the long way to the mailbox? Do a few gentle circles with my arms while waiting for the kettle to boil? Your body craves movement, and it rewards you with better balance, sharper thinking, improved circulation, and yes, better sleep too. Even a few minutes at a time adds up. In these longevity zones, movement isn't a chore. It's just how life flows, and that mindset makes all the difference. Now here's another ritual that might surprise you, eating just until you're no longer hungry, not until you're full. In Okinawa, this is known as hara hachi bu, a mindful practice of stopping when you're 80% full. They eat slowly, savoring their meals, paying attention to their bodies, and almost never overeating. This simple shift in how they eat helps maintain healthy weight, blood sugar, and digestion, without ever feeling deprived. It's not about restriction, it's about respect. Respect for the body, for the food, and for the signals your body sends. And because they don't overeat, they stay lighter, more energized, and better able to avoid many chronic diseases linked to overeating. Now let's be honest, it's easy to lose track of how much we eat, especially when food is comforting or routines are rushed. But this ritual invites us to slow down, to pause between bites, to check in and ask, am I satisfied? Instead of, is my plate empty? I spoke to a gentleman recently, 72 years old, who told me he began practicing this one habit, not changing what he ate, just how he ate. And within a few months, he lost 12 pounds, had more energy, and even noticed his joints didn't ache as much. It's amazing what a little mindfulness can do. And if you're thinking it's too late to change, let me gently stop you right there. It's never too late. The people in these countries don't follow complicated health trends. They just do the small things over and over with consistency and care. And those things add up. Because the truth is, longevity isn't a lottery, it's a lifestyle. It's not about chasing youth, it's about honoring where you are and making choices today that your future self will thank you for. Now that we've explored natural movement and mindful eating, let's move on and uncover the next powerful ritual that keeps these long-living communities so vibrant. Now that we've explored how daily movement and mindful eating contribute to longer, healthier lives, let's dive into another powerful ritual that's woven deeply into the lives of people in the world's healthiest regions. having a strong sense of purpose. In Okinawa, they have a word for this, ikigai. It loosely translates to reason for being. In Nicoya, Costa Rica, it's called plan de vida. No matter the name, the concept is the same. Waking up each day with something to look forward to, something that gives you meaning, something that makes you feel needed. It could be caring for grandchildren, tending a garden, volunteering in your community, learning a new skill, or even making a beautiful meal. The specifics don't matter as much as the feeling that your life still has purpose, that you're not just existing, but contributing. One woman I spoke with in her 80s said she knits baby hats for a local shelter. She told me, "As long as these hands still work, I'm going to keep making something that matters." That's the essence of purpose, not perfection, not performance, but personal meaning. Having a reason to get up in the morning isn't just nice, it's powerful. Studies show that people with a strong sense of purpose tend to live longer, recover more quickly from illness, and experience less cognitive decline. It's like giving your mind and body a daily reason to keep going. And if you're thinking, "I'm not sure what my purpose is anymore," that's okay. Sometimes we have to rediscover it. Ask yourself, what brings me peace? What makes me feel helpful? What did I love doing when I had more time? Purpose doesn't have to be big. It just has to be real. Now, let's talk about a ritual that might be even more important than food or fitness, and that's nurturing close, meaningful relationships. In Sardinia, Italy, multi-generational families often live under one roof. Meals are shared, conversations flow, and elders are respected as the keepers of wisdom, not pushed aside or made to feel invisible. In Ikaria, Greece, people gather regularly with friends, drink herbal tea, share laughter, and talk for hours, face to face, not through screens. And in Loma Linda, California, a community known for its longevity, strong faith-based and social bonds provide daily support and connection. These social ties do something incredible. They protect the heart, reduce stress, and help regulate hormones that influence everything from blood pressure to sleep. Loneliness, especially in older adults, is linked to a higher risk of disease and early death. But the opposite is also true. Feeling seen, heard, and valued can literally extend your life. That means picking up the phone to call an old friend. It means making time for that neighbor you always wave to. It means joining a book club, a walking group, or a community class, even if it feels a little uncomfortable at first. I once received a message from a man in his 70s who started a coffee circle with 3 other retired neighbors. They meet every Tuesday morning, nothing fancy, just hot drinks and good conversation. He told me it changed everything. "I feel like I belong again," he wrote. And that, right there, is the power of connection. So many people think longevity is about avoiding disease, but in these blue zones, it's just as much about inviting joy, laughter, and community into everyday life. Because at the end of the day, we weren't meant to do this alone. Human connection is healing, and it's never too late to build or rebuild those relationships. You don't need dozens of friends, you just need a few real ones, a few people who check in, who know your stories, who remind you that you're not just aging, you're still evolving. And the beauty of these rituals, movement, eating mindfully, having purpose, and nurturing connection, is that they aren't separate. They weave into each other. They create a lifestyle, not a checklist. Now that we've explored 4 of the most powerful rituals from the longest living communities on Earth, there's just one more to go, perhaps the most gentle yet quietly transformative one of all. So what's the final ritual shared by people living the longest, healthiest lives across the globe? It's one that often gets overlooked in conversations about longevity, daily moments of stillness, reflection, and stress reduction. In Ikaria, Greece, people rest in the afternoon, not because they're lazy, but because they honor a slower pace. In Loma Linda, California, many Seventh-day Adventists observe a full day of rest each week, focusing on family, nature, and spirituality. In Okinawa, elders pause to breathe, reflect, and express gratitude before meals. These aren't grand rituals, they're simple, calming pauses built into the fabric of life. And the science supports what these cultures have known for centuries. Chronic stress shortens our lifespan. It raises inflammation, taxes the heart, weakens the immune system, and interrupts sleep. But when you carve out even just a few minutes to be still, breathe deeply, or quietly reflect, you give your body a chance to heal, reset, and come back to balance. One viewer told me she began ending her day by sitting quietly with a cup of tea. No screens, no noise, just her and the moment. She calls it her peace pocket, and she said that tiny ritual gave her more rest and clarity than anything else she tried. Isn't that beautiful? Whether it's prayer, meditation, sitting outside in nature, or even journaling a few thoughts, those little moments of pause matter. They remind you that you are not your to-do list. You are not your worries. You are here, you are alive, and you are allowed to rest. And this brings us full circle. What the world's healthiest countries teach us is that longevity isn't about chasing youth. It's about living fully at every age. It's not about extreme discipline or chasing the next miracle cure. It's about honoring your body with movement, honoring your mind with reflection, honoring your heart through connection, and waking up with the quiet joy of purpose. These longevity rituals aren't reserved for specific regions or rare people. They're available to all of us, right here, right now. So let me ask you, which of these rituals speaks to you most? Which one feels like it could gently fit into your day? Maybe it's moving more naturally. Maybe it's reconnecting with an old friend. Maybe it's simply sitting in stillness for 5 minutes before bed. Whatever it is, start small, start kind, start today. Your future self is already thanking you. Now, I'd love to hear from you. Drop a comment below and tell me, which longevity ritual are you going to try this week? Your story could be the encouragement someone else needs to begin. If this video inspired you, even just a little, please give it a like and subscribe to the channel. We're building a space here where aging is not feared but embraced, where health, wisdom, and joy grow stronger with time. And if you're looking for tools or resources to support your journey, whether it's healthy living, sleep support, or movement, you'll find some hand-picked options in the description below. These are affiliate links, which means if you choose to make a purchase, it helps support this channel at no extra cost to you. And I'm so grateful for your support. Here's to your strength. Here's to your joy. Here's to living longer and living better. And if you're ready for more, the next video is on screen now. Let's keep going together.